Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us and being a part of our quick training here today. It's hard to believe that 2023 is upon us. It feels like a couple months ago we were celebrating the new year and thinking about what 2022 was going to bring for us. And here we are talking about 2023. It's said that, this is the time of year everybody makes resolutions, the New Year resolution for whatever dreams they have in their life. It also is said that 95% of those dreams never come true. Why? Because the goals aren't really fixed on and have a purpose, and they're not really something that people take to heart. I want to share a quote with you from an author named Robert Heinlein. He was a science fiction author, but he was also a scientist, and he ensured that in his books, everything he wrote of scientific value was in fact accurate and could or was happening. But Robert Heinlein says, in the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia or routines, and then we become loyal to it. Meaning, if we don't have clear goals, we go about doing things the same way day after day. Many of those things we do are unconscious. We just do them by habit. How many of you get out of bed and have a routine? You do the same thing in the morning, you check your phone, you lay in bed, you wait till you get up, you go about getting dressed and showered, and everything falls into the same pattern. And that's what a paradigm is. That's also habitual. But when you look at goals, goals should be something that help us grow. A goal, just to have a goal, doesn't have any purpose. A lot of us have been through years of work and with different managers and goal setting at the end of a year for the year ahead. And the goals kind of fade. They're not really focused on, but the goal is really just to really give the manager something to check on you and make sure you're actually doing your job. But a true goal, a true goal in your life is something that should stretch you, should scare you, but it also should help you grow into becoming something that you dream of becoming. So if you look at goals, and through the Proctor Gallagher Institute, we've studied goals for years, and Bob Proctor always said, goals fall into three categories. And for simplistic sake, I'm going to call them A, B, and C. Okay, an A goal is a goal that you know how to do. It's something you've done before, you know how to do it. Therefore, it's not really a goal. It's not going to stretch you. It's not going to give you any greater growth than what you've already accomplished. Bob tells a story about a young man after a seminar who came up to him and said, "I'd like you to help me with my goal." And Bob said, "Sure, what's your goal?" He says, "I'd like to buy a new car." Bob's like, "Okay, buy a new car. That's a good goal." He says, "What kind of car do you want to buy?" And for current vehicles, I'll say, "I want to buy a Lexus." Bob's like, "Yeah, Lexus is a nice car. I've had Lexus before." He says, "What do you drive now?" He says, "I drive a Lexus." He goes, Interesting. How long have you had that Lexus?" 4 years. How old is that Lexus you're driving? He says, "It's 4 years old." And Bob says, "So what you're telling me is you bought that Lexus new 4 years ago, and now you're looking to buy a new Lexus." And the guy goes, "Exactly." And he says, "That's not a goal. That's not a good goal. You already know how to do that. You've known for 4 years how to go and buy a new car, in this case, a Lexus. So that's really not a good goal." So an A goal is a goal that you know how to do. Therefore, it's not truly a goal. Most people fall under what we call B goals. B goals are things you think you can do, but they come with conditions. For example, if this happens and that happens, and if this falls into place, I think I can attain that goal. But it comes with conditions, and those conditions aren't in your control. They're outside influences that have to occur. And then you think you might be able to get your goal, but there's no inspiration in that goal. There's nothing that motivates you to do it. That's where people quit these resolutions that they're doing for New Year's Day. They get bored. The other conditions didn't happen there, and they just kind of quit, and the goal falls by the wayside. They had good intent, they had purpose, but the goal wasn't defined, and it wasn't a goal that was truly a desire. Now, a C-type goal, and that's where we want to focus on, is a goal that you stretch. It's something you want. You really, really want it, and it's out there, and it's big picture. We're the only creatures on earth that we are aware of that have the ability God gave us to fantasize and to dream and to think beyond our current means. There's a reason for that. There's a reason we're the only creature that can do that. So a sea goal should be a goal that you dream about, think about, fantasize to your wildest imagination. Think about, I want to be financially free. I want to have the ability to do what I want. I want to own a house in the mountains. I want to live on the beach. I want to live in another country or another state. I want to travel. I want to visit sites I've never seen. How many people think that way and then immediately start by going, well, I can't do that. That's beyond what I'm capable of doing. I'm not old enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't currently have enough money. I don't know how to go about doing it. And they let the dream die. But that's not the way it should be. Your dream should be a goal. But what sets that goal in motion is several things. Number one, you write it down. I carry a goal card in my pocket. I look at it every day. I've got 3 goals written on it. You write the goal, you carry it with you, you look at it. Once you fuse your desire and your want, your goal becomes a reality. And the forces of nature and the laws of the universe start to move you and your goal towards each other. That's part of what we train here through Proctor Gallagher, is how to fuse goals and make them a reality. Don't let other people steal your dreams. So many people are going to hear your vision, and I would caution you to not tell a whole lot of people about it. But they're going to say, oh, you're not capable of doing that. You don't have the smarts for that, or the education, or the wherewithal. You know what you're hearing? You're hearing their paradigms, their doubts. How many people are in the workforce today and have goals of a job promotion? But somebody within your work group tells you, well, you're not the right person for that. How do they know? You're not good enough for that. I think what they might be telling you is they're worried that you're thinking of advancing, and you may actually advance and then get ahead of them, and they're left behind because they don't have that drive. Don't let other people steal your dreams. Your dreams are that important. You think back to how this world and how our current lifestyles were formed. In 1903, the Wright brothers, 2 bicycle mechanics, decided we're going to build a contraption that can help us fly. And if they listened to all the naysayers that told them, you're crazy, you're out of your mind, man can't fly, you don't have wings, you don't have feathers, how are you going to fly? But in 1903, they flew for a total of about 17 seconds. 10 years later, as World War I was approaching, we were having dogfights in the sky with men flying biplanes. By the 1940s, we were flying jets. In 1969, John F. Kennedy had cast a vision to fly to the moon and bring a man back, and we did that. Only 66 years later, 979 months from the first time we flew, we were landing on the moon and coming back. How did that happen? In 1962, John F. Kennedy talked to Wernher von Braun, who developed the engines that built the Apollo mission that went to the moon and back. And he asked him, what would it take to build a rocket to fly a man to the moon and bring him back? And Wernher von Braun's answer was the will to do it. And that set the goal in motion, that set the desire in motion. And within 7 years, we had gone to the moon and came back. And here we are now, 50 plus years later, striving to go back to the moon again, and then hopefully beyond to Mars. So goals are something that you have to want, and they have to be written down, and they have to be something that is truly in your mind, and your vision, and your desire, and your want fused together, and your goal starts to become a reality, and things start to move closer together. So let me go back through those 3 keys achieving goals. Number 1, you have to want it. Number 2, you must fuse with that goal and make it a true desire. Secondly, write it down. Carry it with you. Look at it. Study it. Think about it all the time. Make that part of your daily routine. Visualize it and see it. When you start to do this, you're going to start to get negative thoughts that are going to come to you, and you have to eliminate them. Your paradigms are going to step in and go, whoa, 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 hold on. This isn't a goal we can do. Let's not be thinking crazy here. And you got to eliminate those thoughts. They're going to come at you and they're going to fight hard. But change comes from changing those paradigms. And by changing those paradigms, you'll see the goals start to become clearer and become more of a reality. Napoleon Hill, the famous author of the book Think and Grow Rich, which I would highly encourage everybody to purchase, and not just read it, but study it. I read it every day. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon says, imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Think about that. God gave us the ability to imagine, to think. And it's the strongest, most powerful force that the world has ever known. And every one of us has that ability. I'll tell you a little story here. I did training years ago that I've used this training for hundreds of times. But we used to do a class that I was a part of on human relations and public speaking. And we'd rent a hotel room. We'd have about 100 students, and you'd see those people that were terrified to walk in the door. They couldn't get up and say their name, let alone get up and talk in front of 100 people. By the end of the class, by really about the fourth week, these fearful people were the first ones trying to get in line to share their story. But we started the class off trying to level the playing field, because it doesn't matter your level of education. It doesn't matter whether you're a housewife, whether you're a CEO. We're all humans. And we would ask everybody to think of a one-word description of a successful person. And we'd go around the room to every single person, 100 people, and we'd write it down on the board in front of us. Driven, focused, committed, won't quit. And we'd go through all these words, and then we'd say at the end of it, okay, now let's put each of these words into one of two categories. Either an acquired skill you would have only learned by going to school, or a personality trait. And as we go through every word, driven, focused, committed, won't quit, give up, you'd find that every word is a personality trait. Every one of us has these traits within us. It's how we apply them in our daily lives. It's how we focus on them, and it's how we believe in them that creates and dictates who we become and the successes we have in achieving the dreams that we have as well. I want to also talk about Thomas Edison. Susan referenced it a bit earlier. Thomas Edison, in trying to build the incandescent light bulb, had 10,000 experiments that didn't work. And someone once said to him, wow, you failed 10,000 times. And his answer was, no, they weren't failures. They were just feedback. You talk about a not quit attitude and going for it and driving to get something done. That's exactly what he did. He didn't give up. Sir Edmund Hillary conquered Mount Everest in 1953. He didn't just go to Mount Everest, go to the top with Tenzing Norgay, his Sherpa companion. They went there in 1951. They couldn't get to the top. They went back in 1952, couldn't get to the top. Went back in 1953, and to this date are the only known people, the first people to conquer Everest and come back alive. It took a lot of work, and today, literally hundreds of people every fall, every May, conquer Mount Everest. But they were the first ones to do it because they had a tenacity. You've heard the famous old quote that Sir Edmund Hillary was asked, well, why'd you do it? Why did you climb Mount Everest? What was the reason? And his answer was, because it's there. But he was the first to do it. So when your desire fuses with your want, your goals can become a reality. Don't listen to other people who are going to tell you can't make it or can't get it done. They're not you. We are given a brain, and we are given a mind, and we are given a way to think. And the only limitations on ourselves is us. No one can walk up to you and say, your ability is here, you can't go any farther. And go to somebody else and say, well, your ability is here, and then you can't go any farther. Then go to somebody else. No one can put that on you. The only limitation on each of us is ourselves. There is infinity in each of us. Nobody can tell us what we can and cannot do. And the only way they can is if you allow them and you listen to it. So shut out the noise, think for yourself, make a decision. You look at the political theater going on today in the world, here in America, the ads, you can't watch TV anymore. It's too hard. Political ad after political ad, attack ad after attack ad. Falsehoods and lies are being spread, but the seed of doubt is being planted, and that's the intent of those ads. But at the end of the day, people have to walk into the polling booth, and whatever your political affiliation is, whatever your belief is, you vote for your conscience. Don't let others tell you. Don't turn on the radio and let somebody on a talk show make the decision for you. Make it yourself. That's why we're given a mind. That's why we're given imagination and creativity, so we can go out and make decisions on our own. Dream big. If I can give you any homework for tonight, I'd love you to sit down and think about your wildest dream. Find a quiet place, sit down, eliminate all the distractions, and just think, what would I really love? What do I want? And when you've come up with it, write it down. Jim Carrey, the great actor, before he was ever known, was a struggling actor, didn't have enough money for rent, didn't have enough money for food, lived in his car sometimes. He sat down and said to himself, I am going to become one of the most wealthiest actors that's been known. And he wrote a check to himself. Not too many people write checks today, but back then he wrote a check to himself for $10 million. He folded it up and he put it in his wallet. He looked at it all the time. He talks about this a lot in different conversations. But he said, I am going to reach a point where someone pays me $10 million to do a movie. Many years later, after a couple of TV shows, he started doing movies, and many of them are beloved comedies that we know. He started to get checks for $10 million for his movies, and beyond that, even greater dollars than that. But what did he do? He had a vision, wild vision. Nobody then would have thought, you're going to give you $10 million to do a movie, right? He wrote it down. He studied it. He manifested it. He thought about it. And it became his reality because he started moving the forces of his goal, infusing it with his desire, and it became a reality. What we do here with Proctor Gallagher is exactly that. We have a 6-month course where we teach every student how to go about taking these principles and these secrets that have been passed down for hundreds of years and applying them. When you do that, when you learn the material, your life changes. I'm a prospect of that. I've come from that. So has my wife, Susan. And you'll look back in 6 months and you'll need a telescope to see who you once were, because you'll have that dramatic an effect on you. You'll have moved that much in your life. It's not fantasy. It's not something pie in the sky. It's not some crazy theory. This is science, and science measured with our abilities that creates us the capacity to dream and attain those dreams. We'd love for you to come and help work with us and be a part of a mastermind group that talks through these things. And if you have questions, if you're not certain about exactly what the content is, we're open for a phone call. Reach out to us. If you go to our website, beemorenow.com, that's BEE, morenow.com, there's a registration page. You can just fill it out. It'll prompt us to reach out to you. We can have a conversation and find out if this truly resonates with you, if it's for you. It may not be for everyone, but I believe everyone should know this material. It's that powerful. It's that life-changing. And if you wait 3 months, 6 months, or a year, all you've done is lost 3 months, 6 months, or a year and getting started. So it's something worth taking the time to look into, and be happy to help answer any questions you have. So that's it for today. We thank you for taking the time to be with us. It's been a pleasure sharing some quick tidbits with you. If you have any questions, please reach out and we'd be happy to answer them. So far, have a great day, great week ahead. Take care.